Let me just check it's working on YouTube, and then we can start the chat. Just gotta wait a sec, because obviously YouTube's behind the actual website YouTube. Right. How are we all doing? We are live on YouTube. So, hello and welcome to our new podcast page.
Yes.
And today I'm joined by my friend Joseph.
Yeah.
So introduce yourself.
I'm Joseph, and I'm 16, and I'm ready to discuss today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Right, let's get into some things. I just want to start by saying these podcasts, they're brand new to the channel. Like, brand new. What we're doing is brand new, and I'd like to get a bit of an audience and a following to this.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking that podcasts would be great towards maybe the end of lockdown, because we can discuss post what's happened basically.
About what's happened.
Yeah, I think personally discussing after the events have happened is probably more suitable, I'd say. What about you? Would you say?
Yeah, I'd probably say, because now we've got a wider range of knowledge about it, and so that means we can have more to discuss about.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, and and we've seen like the government, how they've acted from the start to the finish now, really.
So if you didn't know, we're from the UK, so we'll mainly be biased towards our own country. We won't be discussing any other country. We don't know enough probably about other countries, so we can't judge their. Well, America is a bit obvious what they've done.
They've not done great, I'd probably say. They've probably done quite poor, because it's just probably because there's a lot of people there. It's hard to social distance.
Yeah, it's very populated.
Yeah, I just think Donald Trump, he's just really not acknowledged the fact COVID-19 is a real thing. And
he thinks it's like a myth, doesn't he? He just thinks it's like a dream.
And for the first time in recent news, Donald Trump wore a mask. Give him a round of applause.
He's like to first clap on the show on the first episode.
It only took 3 million cases and 135,000 deaths in America for him to wear a mask.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to put my hands up and say I didn't know that. Yeah. So
I'd probably say that's quite embarrassing, but at least we could say he's put one on at least one time.
I mean, that's actually great of Donald, because it shows that he's not ignorant to real things such as the COVID.
It's
not a disease. The what's it? COVID. Is it a disease? No. What would you call it? A
virus.
Virus. There you go. Sorry, couldn't get the words out.
Yeah.
So even if people don't tune in to the live show, they still have a comment.
Go subscribe, because there'll be more and loads more with other people.
Yeah, there'll be different people.
Go like the video so we can do more, and share to as many people as you can. Share to your grandma, your auntie, your uncle, your brother, your friend.
Yeah, anyone.
Anyone. Just share it. Even share it to your dog if you want.
I'm sure your dog will be as involved as
tell him to subscribe.
Who knows? Some dogs are more interested in other things than others, I'd say.
It could be a hint for future videos, dogs, future topics.
So where should we start off? So where should we start off with this topic? There's so many places to start. There's so many great aspects, but also obviously it's a bad thing that's happened.
I think we start from the first case in the UK, or the first case in China back in 2019.
Yeah, no, it was last year. It wasn't even this year. It's so surreal.
When no one really thought of anything, cases started stacking up in China. People just kept dropping dead on the floor. I know, I'm not trying to get too graphic here, but that's what did happen on the streets, and they started going to hospital, and China couldn't control it, I'd probably say. And then because they had no idea what to do, such a massive population of over 1 billion, there's not much they can really do. Everyone's just going, driving this way, driving that way, trying to go in, trying to go out, trying to stay with family, all in such a small amount of time, when for the first ever time that a country goes into lockdown.
Yeah.
That's kind of that it still doesn't really jog the world really, or any other like prime ministers or the president Donald Trump or anyone like that yet. They don't know anything about it yet. They just think it's going to stay in China and that's it. Yeah. But listen, they know that was actually
because I remember.
True.
Sorry, I'll leave you. So I was just going to say, sorry to cut you out. First podcast. We have a right to be a bit messy to start off with, but we'll get better as we go along. We'll know
this is the first one, so this is kind of like what we can do.
Yeah. So as I was saying, what I was going to say was, all I was thinking was, no one knew the danger of the virus. No one. Not even Chinese citizens.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring up Bam Bam. Said hi.
Oh, hi Bam Bam.
And he said, "You got this." And then Jake Lesnar's here, and he goes, "Hey, bro, what's up? Hey, people that are here, share the stream."
Right there, my man.
We're going big. Start off big, right?
We're going big.
So as we were saying, no one knew the power of the virus, and that's why the deaths are so significant, and even the people that had it. So also, when it was first about, the people started like traveling to bring it to other regions of the world, which was obviously.
Oh, sorry to cut you out.
Sorry, and then people weren't quarantining, and then it just started. Quarantine is not even a word. They started spreading because they weren't staying in their home, and they didn't listen to the government when they said stay at home if you feel sick or something, or the symptoms.
Yeah, and people started traveling from country to country to country. It just really felt like you stay at home if you have a common cold, but it seems if you have COVID-19, it just seems like you want to go. Let me just decide and travel the world for a minute here. Literally.
I remember some people no one originally thought that it could actually kill people and do the damage that it's done.
Yeah, and to the economy as well, all this damage that's been done. And then eventually it started spreading to other countries like Japan and then Italy and America, No,
but I think, hold on, sorry. I don't think America, wasn't America a bit later to everyone, because they're the other side of the world?
I don't know. I think it was one of the first ones, but I think it must have been like Italy, Japan, maybe a couple other countries, Right. I think it was, France got it, one of the first countries as well. Right. And then people were like, okay, this is getting quite bad. There's a few cases here. People are starting to get it from other countries as well.
Right.
And, the numbers are stacking up really. And then there's some other countries are going into lockdown. I think maybe Japan went into a partial one, I think.
Yeah.
Italy went into one, and then we see like France getting cases and that going into lockdown, and Germany and all these other countries going into these miniature lockdowns. And then, but by the time they all like getting loads of cases, we've got our first case, and we were starting. It was the first one, I think, was like up north in like Birmingham.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think I do remember that. When it got to the UK, I knew someone in Brighton brought it over because he's been traveling like skiing, and then he was in Asia before he went skiing, and he brought it properly, I think, to the UK, and he's from Brighton. Yeah. So I think he was one of the first people that ever got the virus towards our part of the land. Well, the world, not the land, the world.
Yeah.
I'd like to say, shout out Brandon Miller, music.
Hey, Brandon, nice. Wait, is my lighting today? There we are. That's better.
So if you are new or you've just joined up, as you've just seen the advertisement, sorry, it's a bit late. We're discussing what it says on the title, I think. COVID-19 and YouTube, is it beneficial? We'll start off with COVID, as we think COVID's the most beneficial to start off with, I'd say. We were going back to when it first... The beginning of COVID.
The UK's first case, or the first few cases in the UK. And, it's weird because especially for the first few people that got to see, you know, these like proper medics and like hazmat suits and gloves and masks, and we just thinking, wow, this is getting weird, you know. We've never really seen that before, you know, like ever.
Funny story here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Funny story here. So I knew Joseph quite well. So we were discussing about it, like when it was January, I think it was. I was saying to him, he was because obviously we were going to do exams in May and June, and I was just saying to him that I don't think COVID will do much damage, and anyone that does get it will just recover no matter what their age. But obviously, I didn't know that. Same with a lot of people. I didn't know.
Yeah, we thought it was going to just be like a miniature thing, a miniature outbreak. You know, it would have been a few people, and it would have been, you know, just dusted under the rug, really, just swept under the rug, and that would have been it. But no, that is not the case.
That is not the case.
Cases just went like that, literally. You know, the UK, and then deaths started happening in the UK. There was the first death in the UK, and then we start to, everyone starts to panic, of course, the public, you know, question the government, you know, what are you doing? Why has there been no lockdown? No, they stopped testing. They were doing testing in the community, and I think they stopped on like March the 13th or something.
Really?
Don't quote me on that, but I think they stopped testing in the community and only accepted hospital admissions. Which is not great. After, I think the day before, the WHO said test, 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 and that's what the UK weren't doing. So, a bit of criticism towards the UK government. They were a bit slow. I'm sure you can agree.
Yeah, I 100%.
Because I think there was probably about 50 other countries in a lockdown or something like that. You know, even like miniature islands and stuff in these lockdowns.
Yeah.
Before we were in a lockdown on March 23rd.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
And then I think the UK was one of the last European countries to go fully in it.
We fell into the lockdown because we saw Italy and how bad it was, but we just didn't think it was going to get that bad here. But oh boy, were we wrong! Like
very wrong.
Yeah, very wrong. Look at us now.
Yeah. Do you know the exact figures by any chance, or you don't know any of that stuff?
I do know the exact figures actually. What do you mean? What figures do you want? The cases now, the deaths now?
I'd like to know the exact cases. Would be nice. About like in total
now. I think it's at 288,000, I think.
And deaths is probably like not what, a quarter of that.
Yeah, I think it's something like 44,000.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Third worst than the world, with America leading, because they were very slow. Yeah. I did talk about it in music. You know, I was probably like the most. I felt like for me, my experience when I was going through it was, especially when I discussed it in my music lessons, was, you know, I hope this thing doesn't get bad. You know, if I get it, if my family gets it,
yeah,
you know, because I do have people in my family with problems and health problems, and you know, I was kind of very getting concerned, you know, what's going to happen with my GCSEs, what's going to happen with my coursework and all the work I've done, and you know, what's going to, are mocks going to be part of my actual GCSE, you know, all these stuff going through our heads, going through my head, you know, am I going to be able to see my grandparents as it really affects old people?
Yeah, things like that. Really worrying times back then. I'd say now will the decline. So think people were starting to get a bit more confident going out and doing things, really, full stop.
Yeah.
Generally.
Definitely.
So I'd say we can now talk about maybe the government and what they did.
The government. Okay. So, one thing
don't go into a rant. Just say things through maybe.
Okay. A thing they did wrong, I'm just going to state it here, putting positive people with COVID-19 into care homes, elderly care homes, where they had where the staff had no PPE. That's one of the criticisms that I could say. Do you think you could agree with that?
I 150% agree with that. That is a very good point, and that I did not know much about until just now. I didn't know about the facts of what happened with regards to that, because that could actually spread it to, and elderly people. They don't do any exercise. No offense to them, they don't really do much exercise to try and
they can't go outside, they're trapped inside. Even
more than normal.
Yeah, because they can't go out, or they could get it from somebody else walking past on a run, on a bike. Someone that's that can easily pass the virus. Very, very easily.
Are you guys?
Are we happy that GC's got cancelled? Yeah,
I'd say probably yeah. I'm
very happy because I had a lot of coursework before my GCSEs, and there was only really a month to go. Right. And I really hadn't revised. Really, I'm not going to be like I was revising every day, because I wasn't, because I had my coursework. I was flat out all night, just doing my coursework that was due in that week, and I was scared because of lockdown as well. Is my coursework going to be affected and stuff? But yeah, I'm very happy that it cancelled my GCSEs.
That's a very good question from Mr. Miller.
Yeah. Shout out to Brandon Miller. So, Marcus, are you happy with it? And would you like to give an explanation of why?
What I'd say was, I'm not no smart ass, but I just didn't really get on with schoolwork. I'd say I didn't.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't really acknowledge that it's that important then. Obviously now, life's so much more serious, and especially knowing about COVID and all that stuff. It's just getting a bit more in your head.
Yeah.
You're seeing it every day on the news, and even schoolwork. It was obviously getting drilled into me, but I think it hit me too late, and I wasn't doing that great.
And especially it being like the ultimate news around school. Like, you get it when you get home from your family, you get it at school from teachers. You'd be on TV. They'd be on TV, on the radio. Yes. You couldn't get away from it. It was with you. You'd get that drilled in literally 24/7. That's what I would say. That it was literally drilled in my head every day.
That is very true.
And even still, sometimes it does. It's still on the radio, still on the news. Still, sometimes people talk about it, like we're talking about it now. But I feel like it's good to talk about it. To get just an overview of really what happened and what we find of it.
So let me just put the ticker on for a bit. We've got a live ticker. The thing at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna put the ticker on and let it just run. Let it run to another country.
Run. Remember, like the video.
Like the video. You mad. I'm joking. So there's so many aspects to this damaging and worrying virus that spread around the world. And wait, is there any countries, do you know? Because you've got more knowledge in this than I do.
Yeah,
I've got more knowledge in other things, but we're doing your thing tonight. But do you know if there's any single island country, whatever you want to call them, in the world that hasn't got it? Like a single thing?
I don't think so. I think there might be one, but it's like a really, really weird name that I think I looked about a month ago, and I can't remember the name, but I think there's 213 countries and islands that have been confirmed positive with the virus.
Like at least one case, you're saying? They have at least one or more?
Yeah, at least one positive. Some of them have recovered, I can say. What was it? Some of them have.
Right.
I can't really name any because they're just like the small islands that no one really knows.
That's very true. Is your
geography like 2 or 3 cases, and it's quite easy to recover that.
So is your geography knowledge very good? Would you say?
I'd say it's all right, really.
Right.
But yeah, I think there have been countries that small islands that have had it. I think I could name one, like New Zealand, for example. That was COVID free. That was all over the news. Just a couple of weeks ago, and then like a couple of days later, Brits come to New Zealand. New Zealand opens up completely because they were COVID free for about a week,
right?
And the Brits, came there and made it positive again. That's an example of a country that had recovered and is still taking positive cases.
Wow.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. Yeah, because I think a lot of people going on holiday there.
Yeah.
Let me just do one thing. Let's have a look at the comments.
Yep.
Brandon Miller says, not going to lie, I think that stands for I'm actually loving this.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, I like that. Positivity vibes.
Hey, look at this.
One thing in life I love is positivity. And whoever does it is a great person, in my opinion.
Definitely. Brandon, you're a great person. Definitely. Yeah.
There was other things we could talk about Corona. I think the damage it's done, and
it has left a lot of damage, and our condolences go to the people. If you know anyone that has lost a person, we are very, very, very deeply sorry for them.
Yeah, and we have sympathy for all of you.
Yeah.
So at least we brought that up. Things like other things going around the world, like Black Lives Matter and other movements that are trending now.
Oh yeah, which did I think contribute towards the virus as well. You know, it's like there's two things going on at once. You know, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and there's literally race wars going on at the same time, which is causing more cases in the UK because it's just thousands and thousands of people and police officers at the same time, just absolutely just, you know, punching each other, like going near each other, no social distancing at all.
Yeah, but people marching and stuff, which I'm not anti, but I'm just saying it just passed the virus on.
Definitely not anti, but it's just not great with this, you know, pandemic, and we've seen the damage it's done. You know, we've seen like paramedics and nurses and doctors and surgeons completely just cry, and you know, and I'm very sorry for them, and I'm thank goodness the cases are now getting lower in England, and they can finally have a break because they definitely deserve it. And I think what Boris should do is he should definitely up the pay rise for all of them, that whole entire care sector, hospital sector.
I 150% agree with whatever you just said.
Yeah.
There's no way I don't agree with that.
Instead of Boris doing that, I'm sorry, but I find this very, very disgraceful.
What now?
What Boris did is, I think it was like a few days ago even, he slated off care homes saying they weren't following the correct procedures. Like, oh my God, that is mental. Like, you're Boris, you're saying don't do this, don't that. They don't have the right equipment. Yeah. And what are they meant to do? They're just left with their mouths just wide open. What are they going to do with just people dying day in, day out? I know this is quite sad, but it's the truth.
It is the truth.
Them off afterwards. That is, I think, he definitely deserves to apologise. You know, as like a formal thing. I think he should do a live speech in front of the whole of the UK, saying how sorry he is, and just become better and admit what he's done wrong, because he never admits what he does wrong. He always wants to do what we can do better, but he never says, "Oh, we did this wrong." You know. We brought lockdown in too slow. He's never said that. He's never said testing was bad. He never said anything was bad. I think he needs to admit what he's done wrong, so then he can get the public and the community on his side, which is what he's not doing at the moment.
I would love for everyone just to be on at least the Prime Minister's side, especially going through dark times. And also, I know this is never going to happen, but I would like to see someone representing China to apologise for what's happened on behalf of the country. So I think they're obviously not going to do it, because why would they? But they've just caused the world to suffer so badly in every department and everything. And they just haven't said a thing. They've literally just kept quiet, and like they've done nothing wrong. Which
we haven't really heard anything from them really in the last couple of months. You know, they're not getting high cases. They're getting about 10 cases a day now, is what I've been checking.
Would you say that? Would you say China, because obviously it originated in China, would you say they dealt with it better than any other place? I know they started it.
I know they started it all. I just feel like some of the numbers are just inaccurate. I wouldn't say they're lying, but I just feel like they're inaccurate, you know.
Oh, we're talking about cases now.
Yeah. I mean, with everything, they handled it well, I say.
Yeah.
But not great enough, to stop it, completely spreading across the world type thing.
I think, in my opinion, sorry to cut you out. In my opinion, they should have shut their borders as soon as at least 100 cases.
Yeah.
Because don't let people out and definitely don't let people in. Because that's a way to deal with something that's, even if you think it's not going to be a bad virus or something bad, assume it. So then if it does come bad, you've got protection.
Yeah.
And people are stuck and no one can just roam the world. And people think that don't have it, that do have it, spreading it like that, things like that. I'm basically saying.
And I do have a mistake from one country that has cost it so badly right now. I think it is now the third worst country. India, population of 1.3 billion.
I know, it's mental.
They didn't tell anyone until, like, let's say a couple hours. Just say a country of 1.3 billion.
Billion people.
Yeah. That's a very high number of a lot of people. They just put them, I think, in this stupid lockdown. And that's just, imagine like 1.3 billion people going absolutely mental and just not knowing what to do in like a quick lockdown.
I'll show my Indian knowledge.
Give them enough time.
India is a great country with a great economy. The only problem is there's a lot of poverty in India, which creates spread and people like using communal loos toilets basically and making contacts for no apparent reason, like things like that, because they're obviously their culture is different to a lot of richer countries in the earth, and the way they deal with things, like for example with the virus, they can't. It's like Brazil similar. Their culture's like more outside and more together, whilst us we're a bit more solo, a bit more separate.
Yeah, and they do have like loads of markets and stuff,
Yeah, like they'd have to shut all of that, and their economy.
And that's what really keeps the economy up for India, and it's very difficult, especially now. They're getting like 30,000 cases a day. That is a lot. That is more than the UK has ever got.
Really? Wow.
In a day.
I didn't even know that.
Spain and probably Italy and Germany and France.
Because Italy. Sorry, but did Italy? I think they made everyone. They couldn't leave their houses, homes.
Yeah.
They literally you can't even leave, even if you want to go shopping.
Yeah, I think only for shopping. I think only for essentials like shopping, and that's really it.
Because wait, apparently the military would be outside if you did leave your home, just to make it even tighter, which I heard from other sources. But interesting stuff.
I also got some information that France apparently had to like sign some papers that you were going out.
I heard about that.
Yeah, you had to sign papers, to go for a walk or, to go to the shops. Imagine that. You have to try and find someone to sign a paper to. Ugh, that must be annoying.
Things like that. People could say you are losing your human rights to certain things you could normally do, but obviously you can't do due to the virus, which is it's sad. But in a way, it's better to deal with it. I think it's a good way they've dealt with it. What about you?
Yeah, I think it is. Like, I don't know. I think it could. I don't know. Just.
I mean, we're at the end. We're at the end now, and I think people are starting to. People are starting to realise that they can be more confident outside. They can do more normal things. Yeah. Obviously, the restaurants aren't fully back to normal. Businesses with food and things similar to that. I won't name others, like cinema maybe or other things like that. They can't get back to normal ways, which is a massive loss for them. Yeah, I think a lot of money to help keep the virus away from others. You're gonna have to stay closed. Because do you think sports events and things like cinemas and theatres and inside theatres can ever open up in the next 4 months?
You think like people going to the games and stuff?
Anything? No, not just football or sport or anything. I'm saying things where you have to sit next to someone to watch a live event or a live screening of something. Not just like
I probably would say I'd probably say by September maybe. I know this is quite close now.
yeah, it's really close.
Because schools will be going back in September. I just feel like everything else is going to go completely back to normal once school goes back. Because there's no way some schools with like a population of like 1,000 can control that really. That social distancing of like 1,000 people or a few hundred people in their school. I feel like that's quite difficult.
That's a good point there. I think in September, I don't think everyone will be back at school. But do you think in classes they will allow people to wear masks and PPE themselves from others?
I think you should definitely be able to wear masks and gloves and hopefully the teachers can finally realize this in their low IQ brains about anything social life, but not to confiscate like stuff like hand gel and like hand products so you can or hand sanitizer that you keep with you so they don't confiscate that if you're like using it or stuff like they were doing before the lockdown, like they were taking it away from you and they'd keep it, and that'd be really annoying, which then would contribute to spreading the virus really, because then you wouldn't be able to clean your hands and stuff. So yeah, I feel like they should.
It's a great point actually you brought up there. It's a great point about the hand gels and personal hygiene things you can use to get germs off your hands. I think that's a great point. I think the teachers are going to lose their rights to confiscate hygiene products themselves. But if you're like being overreacting, being stupid over it, they probably should be able to take it away because that's just being pathetic.
I mean, you don't like to abuse it type thing, but you're allowed to use it.
Hold on a second. Let me just remove something. We've got a comment here from Brandon Miller Music. He says, "Do you think Donald Trump in USA went around the virus correctly? If you were at the start of the show."
I would, my opinion, but no, I don't think Donald Trump really cared about anything.
So if you missed the start of the show, me and Joseph basically said we don't think Donald went around it correctly, and we all thought he thought it was a myth. And Joseph told me that Donald just about wore a mask the other day, which is all pathetic, and he doesn't care enough. And then did you see the story where the interview he was rude to some Chinese woman just because she's from China? Did you see about that?
Oh yes, I did see that. That is very distasteful. And I just say that we're all the same. We're all human, really. So treat everyone like you would. Treat everyone the same, no matter what they are or who they are. You treat them with respect.
In my opinion, I am anti any discriminatory in any form of any way, no matter what you're saying, where they're from, who they are, what race they are, whatever, what religion. I don't care. You can't discriminate anyone, in my opinion. Anyone. What about you? You same as me?
Definitely.
It's just disgusting if you do.
Yeah,
you're just a piece of
it's just so wrong. Like, you could probably bully me for being white or something, or bully someone else for being a different religion, or it's just you can bully for someone for absolutely anything, what they do, what they believe in, or even like just discriminating, what they do in their lives,
right,
what their jobs are. They might discriminate against their jobs, they might say that's a lower class job, like you're so poor, like that's so wrong. They're trying to work hard, they're doing the job they like, clearly, or trying to work for another job, so they're not just doing it for a pointless reason, really. So I feel like don't discriminate against people ever.
So what we're saying is now we are, as a unit and as our podcast representing our channel, we are totally against anything that's discriminating anybody or their job or anything they do or want to do or believe in or want to achieve. We are anti any of that. And if you do it, we don't really condone it on the channel, and you'll receive the ban, in my opinion. What about you? To receive the ban?
Yeah, we'll give them a warning, and then if they do it again, maybe
a ban. Yeah, I don't think it's very. I don't think it's not very pleasant, so we don't want it.
No,
right.
Let's get back to the topic of Donald Trump.
We've gone on to discriminatory now.
Yeah. Donald Trump. No, he didn't realize it. He was too slow. He didn't really had enough control. He was just shaking hands. I think I was watching one time on the news. I think, every single person was wearing a mask, and he wasn't. And I even saw also on a news thing where Donald Trump said, I think I remember, I don't think I really need to wear one. I don't really want to wear one. Yeah. Like, just going back on yourself. And then I think on the interview he said today, he's like, there's like a right place and a right time, and I think I should be wearing it all the time now. And it just feels like you're just really taking advantage of it, really. And it just seems like taking the joke out of it.
We've got some evidence coming in. Hold on a second. Let me just share my screen a sec. Can you see this? Sorry, I'm sorry to sort something out. Can you see this, people?
Yes. There is Donald Trump wearing a mask for the first time.
They've headlined it, coronavirus. Donald Trump has a mask. This is today. Donald Trump has a face mask.
It's a miracle. It's like God has spoken to him.
So they've wrote an article on how he's wore a mask the first time ever. Wow.
I was surprised that he actually did that.
That is incredible. What's said about Donald Trump? It's been Fox. That's an American company, Fox. He said, "I'm all for masks," even though this is the first time he's ever worn it.
And I do remember. If you probably can't find it, but he said he didn't want to wear it, and he said, "No, I don't really need to wear it. I don't want to wear it." He's just taking the joke out of it, so people can respect him. He's wearing a mask finally, but it's just too late, Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I think he's blown his chances.
Honestly, you're making Boris Johnson look fast here. Come on, man. That's quite embarrassing for him.
Right, we've got another comment here.
Yeah.
Shall I read it out?
Fire away.
Right, it says, do you also think the BLM marches had any effect on the virus? And do you think it was right to protest in large gatherings during the virus? That's a very good point.
That is a very good question, Brandon Miller. Shout out to you again.
Brandon Miller Music. I'd like to shout you out, mate. On behalf of your channel, your movement. I'm not shouting out there. So I think I'll start with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. As we were talking about discriminatory earlier, and Brandon did bring it up earlier again, and he's probably the only one participating in tonight's first ever podcast, but we didn't advertise in time, so we don't really expect that many people. But do you also think the BLM marches had any effect? Right. We'll start off with whether I'm all for the BLM. BLM is a great thing. I think it's great that nowadays people from any race or anything or religion are acknowledging that black people deserve rights, right?
Yeah.
They, in my opinion, are equal to any other person that lives on this earth. They're no animals or anything. They are completely the same as anyone. They're great people. And that video of George Floyd, is absolutely disgusting. And I've never been so appalled with the human race in my life. And I think that was one of the worst things I've ever seen in front of my eyes on my smartphone. Never seen anything so disgusting. And at one point I nearly teared up. Disgusting. And I don't know this guy. I don't know barely where he's from. I don't know how this came about and how it got trending on social media so quickly and why everyone was sharing them. I didn't know anything at the time. But when I first saw it, I was disgusted, and I'm so sorry to hear about it. And obviously, the policeman didn't get what I think he deserves. What did he only get? 15 years in prison? Or did he get lifetime? I can't remember. Did he get lifetime?
Yeah, I think he got like.
Did he get lifetime for manslaughter? Wait, was it murder or murder? Wasn't it?
Yeah, murder and manslaughter. I think it was. Yeah, manslaughter.
And I'd just like to raise the point that we're all one race. Everyone together is one race. And I'd just like to say, on behalf of anybody, that we all should stick together and conquer through. Because who knew the Earth could actually end? Scientists are saying the Earth could end. So why can't we all just stick together and
just
be powerful together?
Until we go. We shouldn't be against each other. We should be.
And also, let me just raise a point as well. I think the coronavirus, I know obviously it's bad and what it's done to the Earth. I think it's the reason why BLM's happened, Black Lives Matter has happened during coronavirus, is because I think they've seen on the news people are dying, losing their life. People, obviously, the stats out. That's brought other people together and all the races together as one whole, and that's mainly why people are marching to become equal. So that the coronavirus, as bad as it is, has actually brought the people together.
And I also say that also what contributed to it was probably the fact that there was mass unemployment and most people weren't working, and you couldn't really work at the time. You couldn't go to your jobs. So people, I feel like because they were there's mass unemployment and no people working, I feel like they went because of that as well.
So as a channel, for the people that are just joining, as a channel, I'd like to say we're all for anything to get equality, whether you're a woman, whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're anything, any race, anything. We all believe, as this channel, representing this channel, me, as is my name that represents this channel, I'd just like to say we're all together. Everyone on this channel, in this community, is one unit, and we're all together and we can battle the coronavirus. So I'd just like to raise that point while we're discussing about Black Lives Matter and other things during the coronavirus pandemic. I just like to raise that point, and I thank you for that lovely question.
Yeah. And also, do you mind if I could add about the video as you brought it up and about what happened to George Floyd? When I saw it, I literally just felt like as if I was George Floyd, and that I would have hated that to happen to me. You know, to be killed right there and then, and you know, to be crying out for my mum, and the officers not complying, and you know, just people looking crap scared, the public looking crap scared of these police officers, as if, I'm just saying, if someone from the public did step in, they could have got arrested and got themselves into danger, which is probably why they didn't interfere.
I think
that's what I'm saying.
I think the nowadays generation, they don't want to intervene in things they're not meant to be intervening in. They want to. Everyone just worries nowadays in the nowadays society. Everyone just worries about themselves. No one really cares about anyone else. You're just like, just some guy on the floor being killed. Who cares? It's like that.
I mean, I feel like there are like this mainstream stuff, and you know, like I feel like the Black Lives Matter is slightly dipping because it's like a, you know, it's like the mainstream type thing, and you know, it's just like the hype of it, and you know, just like coronavirus has had its hype of it, Brexit, everything has had its hype of it, and you know, probably like all these other virus outbreaks had their hype of it. I just feel like everything has its hype of it, and I feel like we shouldn't just do it for the hype of it. We should do it because we generally mean it. So discrimination. Let's stand up to these police that treat us like animals, that treat us with no respect, that just shove us to the ground or shove people to the ground and just, you know, just arrest us and not even let us get a word in.
I think this is a massive point here. Police overuse their power because they know they've got more control over other people. History plays a massive effect into why people are killed for who they are. And and people back then that are so traditional, they don't want to change their views on such things that they need to get into modern day society. Racist programs, racist jokes, racist anything towards anyone should be taken off anything. I just don't agree with that anymore. Back then, it was more acceptable. It still wasn't acceptable. Yeah, you could get away with it. Now, people are trying to remove it, get it out of their systems.
Just like they removed Little Britain.
Obviously, Little Britain was great.
Yeah,
but
it was an amazing show.
It was, a bit over the top, and I don't agree
David
with
Wallace
you.
and Matt Lucas, they're just like such an iconic duo, really. Like,
But
amazing.
right, so let's bring up another question from Billy Alexander. He says, "How do you?" Well, we've already been asked this, but how do you guys feel about GCs being cancelled?
How do I feel about them being cancelled?
It's a good point, but it's already been said.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I mean, as we said before, I feel happy because, you know, I feel like I've been free and, you know, I'm not trapped in that cycle anymore of just waking up, going to school, coming home, doing revision, going to bed, and doing that same thing day in, day out. So yeah, I was very happy when GCs got cancelled, but I was also sad at the same time that people were dying, and I didn't want anyone to die at all.
Yeah,
no one.
same. In my opinion, I've probably
have my GCSEs and have no one die. That's my view of it. I'd go back, have my GCSEs, and this virus not happen.
So my answer to your question, Billy, I'd like to say probably quite glad. At the same time, I kind of want to prove a point to others. So I'll just leave it like that. Right. Anyways,
yeah.
Next question is actually from Billy again. He goes, "How do you feel about issues such as global warming and things to do with the environment?"
I mean, especially with coronavirus, apparently that the reason why the weather was so good was because people weren't using their cars as much. So the sky was a lot clearer. You know, not as much fume coming out of cars.
Yeah,
you know, there was less buses, less trains. I felt like it was great to do with the environment. Like you could see nature coming out again for the UK for the first time in years. Like the reason why that was the reason why the temperatures were increasing, and we had such great weather. You know, there'd be amazing sunsets. You'd hear like, you know, just like the birds coming out a lot more, and you know, just really nature, you know, doing well.
If you could share the stream, that would be much appreciated. As we move on to my part of answering this exact question, I'd like to say very happy that the pollution levels have gone down, but at the same time, I kind of miss normality. And obviously, the planes moving around every day to different destinations, and cars and lorries and carbon dioxide from different features of the Earth spreading around the Earth, which is obviously not good for it. It's obviously it's a bad thing, but at the same time, the coronavirus, at the end of the day, has some positives to it, and that is one of it. So it's a weird one, that question, but at the same time, it's probably a good thing. We'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
We won't get into too much depth into that one.
Yeah, and my next point was going to be, you know, how difficult it probably was, you know, when Boris Johnson went into hospital and the cases were increasing, and he left it on Dominic Raab to control the country, and you know, Matt Hancock got it, and was it Chris Whitty got it? You know, everyone was like, all them important people were getting it, and the cases and the deaths were just escalating like so quickly every day. I think it was getting to like 5, 6, 7,000 cases a day, and like 800 deaths a day. It's quite a lot. And you know, I'm very glad Boris made it and he's alive, because it would have been very sad if he did unfortunately lose his life to it. But I'm very happy he did live, and he's still here, and he's still controlling our country, because I feel like if he had passed, which I hope never happened,
right,
I don't feel like the country would have done. I don't think I would have survived, because he regained that control when he came back. And look at it now. We're on, what was it, 600 cases a day now, exiting lockdown, getting life back to normal, and everything's just going well for this country. You know, gyms should be opening soon.
Yeah, tomorrow I think they're opening up gyms and swimming pools.
Swimming pools opening tomorrow, and gym opening next week, I think. It's going to be great.
Right, so we've got
indoor swimming pools. Outdoor will be opening tomorrow, I think.
Right, we've got a very good point from Brandon, which I think he said it. Let me just work this out. 5 minutes ago now, so we've been rambling about other things, and we've got a new. It's a long paragraph. I'll read it out. He says, "General question: is this a weekly thing, and are you having different guests talk about different topics each podcast?" That is a very good question. Yeah, it's a question.
Yeah.
Very good question. I'd like to acknowledge that and answer saying there will be a few podcasts a week filmed, either live or pre-recorded. Depends what we prefer at the time and what the preference of the guest is. I like to have their view on it before we start shooting it. But I'd like to say we will be doing a few, maximum 3 times a week, but it could be 1 or 2 times a week. We'll be filming either pre-recorded or live, but we're definitely doing 1 or more. So that's an answer to your question. Thank you for your question. And the other part of the question, sorry. Are you having different guests talk about different topics each podcast? And the answer to that bit of the question is yes, we will be having different guests, and I will be letting you know on other social medias and YouTube whether it'll be pre-recorded or live.
Well,
so at the end of the day, Joseph will be he will be on quite a bit. Won't you?
Yeah,
He will.
but I won't be on every single one.
Oh,
Sorry
right.
to let you guys down, but
yeah,
I think it's better to have a different, varied people, because they have different points and different things.
Because in my opinion, everyone's got their different views. So it'd be a bit boring and a bit repetitive if we could bring you on every episode. And I don't know. Some people could enjoy it. Some people could enjoy it, and some people could hate it. So we'll find out. Obviously, nearer as we go along. But at the moment, I'd like to say that start off with we'll have you on first because I think your character is one of the best people I know. All right, move on from that one. I've answered that, I'd say.
Any other questions, or should we go on to our next point about what's happening in this?
We'll answer the questions first, and then we'll move on to because I don't want to leave them hanging that long in case they leave. Well, no, that's not very relevant. Billy says, "Can I come on one time?" As one of the points.
Yeah, you could come on one time if you really want. Just keep in contact with us, and you could come on.
I think Billy, you'd be a lovely character to be on the show. I really appreciate you to come on one night. We'll be basically what I was saying to Joseph the other day was we would probably prefer to do online while Corona exists. But then I'd like to either hire out a room and we can film some episodes with real mic, real technology all together on one table when Corona basically doesn't exist. I'd like to.
Hopefully one day, as lockdown restrictions are easing and, like non-essential retail's been here for a month, but still, wasn't it like John Lewis and Boots? They lost like thousands of jobs and now there's quite a lot of unemployment.
Yeah, it's really sad actually. We'll bring that up later or maybe another episode. But I'd just like to say that tonight's episode we'll carry on a bit. We'll go a bit longer. We've got other points to talk about, and whenever we've finished, we'll round up tonight's show and we'll end the live broadcast. If you can share the stream, subscribe, and that'd be much appreciated.
Notifications.
Funny enough, actually, guys, we're actually making up on the spot.
Yeah,
we're not actually reading off the script. Billy says, "Can I?" Oh, we read that one.
Yeah.
And Brandon says, "Marcus, this is great what you're doing. Thank you very much." And then it goes. Brandon also says, "Snoopy looks so cute."
Oh yes,
That's
sorry.
Right.
My sister was in the background for a few seconds. Don't know why. Speak to me, but I don't think she knew I was doing this.
I know why. Your bloody door's open. You can't
and I just didn't really let my family really know about it because I didn't have much time to prepare. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And that means I should definitely close my door right now.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on to the next point and then we'll start chatting. Shut the door.
And thank you for saying Snoopy looks cute. He is definitely a cute dog.
Billy says, "I'll text you boys." We'll leave it that one with that. And then Brandon says, "How do you think Boris will deal with unemployment in the UK?" That's a very good point.
And it's not really Boris's sector, really. I think this is more of Rishi Sunak's sector. With everything, really, and about his furlough scheme and
Yeah,
just
that's
think he's
very
done
true.
and eat in and eat out. Boris Johnson was very happy with that. You should have seen his face when the eat in and eat out voucher was going through.
Is that the fact? Is that the fact? Sorry to cut you out. Is that the voucher where you get like discounts on food?
Yeah, every day through August and things like you get some money off. You should have seen Boris's face, really.
He was loving.
It was so massive because you just know that he's definitely going to get lots of takeaways and stuff.
Well,
and another reason, is that the reason the gyms were one of the last places to be opened was probably because Boris probably didn't want them to be open, as I'm sure you could tell.
Yeah.
Really, because it's not his style, really. Like, he's not great with it, and he just can't keep up, and it just doesn't really interest him, gyms, really. That's what I'm going to say.
Right.
So he's been having a big frown on his face when he has to go, oh, gyms have to open. Like, yeah.
Right. So, I think, in my opinion...
Sorry, I just think Boris just always thinks about foods the whole time. I'm sure if you go back on some recent interviews, even before this lockdown, you can just think Boris Johnson just trying to piece in food in with everything. And even I'd probably say with this coronavirus, control the spread. He's probably just thinking of a tub of Nutella right there and then, control the spread, you know he's going to down later when he gets back.
I'm so lost. Are we trying to like abuse Boris or something for like him being
take the mock out of him, really, because
we're only joking, guys. No, don't take us so seriously now.
All
right, let's move.
Boris is a great guy.
Brandon also moves on to the US and asks how Donald Trump would deal with it. US, it's a massive damage.
It's got like massive unemployment because apparently people in the US can just fire you on the spot and you're gone. And the UK is like kind of different. Like you have to go like through some things, and you can't just be fired like straight away.
So I think their tourism in the US is much greater because it's so massive. It's much greater, and they're having a massive loss because they're
foreign industry as well.
Because a lot of Europeans and Asian people like to travel to the US to visit. So people not coming from different regions of the earth, it's a massive effect on the US. Full stop. We'll leave it there. Right.
Yeah. Sorry, if I could continue for like a couple of minutes. The fact that Disney World had to reopen today. Had to reopen, and that's just because they feel like they've been forced to have to, because they've got to gain people in to help the economy and to deal with to get people back into work, to get that employment back up, really, and lose their unemployment.
I just think the Earth will take, not the Earth, the world itself will take. It'll take so long to get over what's happened. It will take so many years, trust me, with this.
Yeah, what, Marcus? I've got a question for you here.
Right, bring it in.
I've got my question. Do you think there is this second wave of this coronavirus? And do you think it's going to be twice as worse, or do you think it's going to be a lot less than it was than the first peak?
Right. In my opinion, I obviously know probably as much as an ordinary person. I'd say people will be more aware of their surroundings and more experienced in what's just happened in case it happens again. But you'll always get the person that thinks they're invincible and doesn't think they can get anything, and they're just solid with everything. That's ignorant of general things in society. But as a whole, as a nation, I'd say people will be more aware and they will be able to control the virus a lot better than they have originally. So that's what I'd like to say on that one.
And my point on it is could be that I feel like there probably will be a second peak. I feel like there's no way that it just dips down like in this country and it just goes. I feel like we've got somehow some fluke pulled off here. Somehow we're going to reopen. Then I'd probably say by about October time, the cases are going to start rising again, and there'll be like some massive peak, especially when like there's like the cold and the flu, especially in the winter months. I feel like it's going to get not worse.
Because a lot of elderly people get ill during the winter months because of how cold it is. A lot more deaths will occur in the latter months of this calendar year and towards the beginning of next year. Whilst at the moment, people in especially the UK will be able to deal with it in the summer a lot better than the winter.
Yeah, because I feel like it's quite hard to pass it outside and in the heat than outside in the cold. You know,
right?
Like very transmissible.
If everyone can share the stream as we carry on, we've just hit the hour mark. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that's been along the ride for tonight's stream. Right. You know, we've got a couple more points.
Share to everyone. Yeah. Like we said before, share to your auntie, your uncle, your friends.
Yeah, everyone.
Anyone. Brothers, sisters, anyone. Let's keep this going because we want to keep this going.
And we're going to be doing episodes at least twice a week. Maybe more, I'd say. But we'll sort out the finance for this channel another time. So we can sort out how many hours we can do a week and things like that. But that's another story. Won't bring that up on stream. I've also got other points on the chat, and then we'll move on to the other part of the title, which is, I can look at the YouTube now. The title for tonight's stream is COVID-19 Summary Discussion and is being a YouTuber official. Right. Yeah. We'll finish off with the coronavirus, then we'll move on to the YouTube and the job part of the title. I'd just like to say, before we carry on, hold on. The streams will be informal and just a bit of fun, but we'd like to get big. We're saying basically, we're doing it for the fun. Obviously,
we're doing it for the fun. Like, you know, sometimes we can take the mick out of sometimes, but really, you know, we're
only joking.
Yeah, we're not trying to offend anyone really. We're not trying to do it in a horrible way. We're just trying to do it in like
a joking form.
Yeah.
Like, right.
And if it does offend someone, just please let us know and we'll stop it straight away.
Yeah.
If we do go, let us know.
Yeah, if it does get controversial, do leave your comments in the live chat. Also, right.
Yeah.
Another one for Brandon. You can read it out yourself for this one.
Ooh, this is a good question.
I like this one. I can't say I hate it, so I kind of like it. Do you want to read it?
Oh, actually, okay, I've got...
Read the question.
Okay, do you think the UK should do Black Fridays more often because of the current situation? Well...
Ooh, that's a good one. You know what? I rate that one.
Like, for Black Friday, they're probably big superstores in the UK, like Tesco's, Asda, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Argos, and Waitrose will definitely have to reintroduce social distancing measures for Black Friday because things just get so hectic, so crazy. You know, people just fighting, you know, not really caring about anyone and just doing what they can just to grab their sailed TV or game.
So in my opinion, it's harder when you're, because of obviously the discounts on Black Friday, if you do bring in a Black Friday, social distancing is, in my opinion, 100% gone out the window. Mainly because people are arguing and showing their authority to try and get a certain item off the shelf over other people. And it can lead to arguments and some people being even racist and things. So I don't really agree with that much. But I do rate the question, though. And if it did happen, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing ever. It's definitely not that.
Yeah, I mean, I've also got a point now of, do you think families will be able to reunite at Thanksgiving and Christmas? Because that is coming up in the winter holidays. That's when, because that's a time for family. And if it gets bad in the winter, will we be allowed to see our family? And could this be the first ever Christmas in lockdown? That
is a very good point, Mr. Joseph. That's a very interesting point. I'd just like to say I think we should move on now from COVID.
We probably will end this thing, but we'll say your point and then we'll just conclude this in the next 2 minutes, really.
Are we not going to chat about the last part of the title?
Okay, sorry, we'll conclude the coronavirus bit to an end.
Yeah, that's what you meant to say.
Yeah.
What we going to?
I'm going to mess up. Sorry.
So what are we going to say about the last bit about COVID? What advice?
The last bit about COVID is we're on the hopefully this road to success, and hopefully there is no second peak, because that'd be very dreadful for everything, for for schools, for shops, for businesses. As schools will have to close again, then mocks for the next current year will be delayed, and then GCSEs again for the next year will be delayed, and it will just be one big mess for years and years to come. But I feel like now, because we've had there's been criticism to our government that I feel like they're going to be a lot more planned and ready if there is a new peak. But anything could surprise them, really.
Good answer. I'd just like to say, if there is another peak or another wave, scientists have warned you, and it is factually out there on the news. So do be prepared if it does happen. Hopefully it doesn't, obviously, but it could happen. So we're saying, stay at home. I'm joking. We won't say that yet.
Stay alive. Stay virus and save lives.
I do agree with that one. Right.
Yeah.
Last point. Sister Squad says, hi Joseph.
Hello, Sister Squad.
Whoever the hell that is.
Yeah.
I think I know who it is, but we won't name names. We'll only name names if their names on the
unless you want to.
Hold on, he thinks you should be Prime Minister. What do you think about that? Wow. Got out.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to make myself cocky or anything, but I would probably be a bit more clever to not send positive people into care homes and have nightingale hospitals that are closed, and to send them to care homes, because they also had, when they were sending positive people into care homes, they also had all those massive hospitals closed.
Yeah, that's very true. Right. I'd just like to say,
I could do a better job than Boris, and to close down the borders immediately and to add lockdown a lot quicker. And I'm just saying that I probably could have done better than Boris.
He's put it out there, people.
I could have done better in some ways. Okay, maybe not in some certain areas. I could have done better than him. Like shut down air, let people in, and just to introduce the lockdown earlier.
And I think he said, Boris basically said, before he shut schools, he said, we want to shut schools at a later time, so parents don't have to bunk work to look after their kids. So they wanted the schools to stay open longer, which spreads the virus, which at the end of the day, it probably won't work out very well. And I didn't really agree with it at the time.
Yeah,
I definitely don't agree with it.
It's just schools are closed literally out of the blue one evening.
Yeah, right.
That's just the crazy thing with this government. Stay alert, control the virus, save lives, and
hold on.
As you can as possible. If you're like on public transport or in the shops, gloves, masks. They're there for that. They're there to protect you, not there to harm you.
Yeah, and definitely, I'd say a lot of people, they either think it's cool wearing it or they're ashamed to wear it. Which, if you're ashamed, try not to be. And if you think it's cool wearing it, don't abuse it, basically. Right, let's move on to the last part of the stream. The second part of the stream was, is being a YouTuber official? Do we agree with that statement? That's part of the title for tonight's podcast.
I feel like YouTubers, it is a good job for, I'd probably say younger people, teenagers / young adults, as they can appear hilarious and
put your phone on silent, for God's sake.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to turn my phone off quickly.
Yeah.
There is a no caller ID calling me. That's great.
Just switch your phone
off. Where was I again? YouTubers. I feel like it is a good job. It pays a lot more money than any other job, but you have to put in like the hours, the work, but it does eventually pay off. It may not be soon and instant, but if you put in that grinding work every day, and you can achieve what you want to achieve. That's all I'm saying. YouTube, like, you do what you want in YouTube. I mean, you can't do what. I mean, there's like so many. It's kind of limitless, really. You could do like vlogs, you could do pranks, you could do reaction videos. You could do anything really. You know, there's so much varied content that I feel like it's good, and I feel like it is official to be a YouTuber, and I feel like it's great to be a YouTuber, as you're also helping other people that be going through a very tough day, and you know, even that little smile that they get from you could really help them in a time that's very difficult, especially now, as we were talking about. Like some YouTubers are like they're there for their fans, and you know, look out for them and try and, you know, do as much content as possible, because, you know, it's an inside job, and, you know, they're only really by themselves, but they try and help their fans, and, you know, spread a little positivity. They try and do, just like we're doing. Try and spread the positivity.
Oh, guess what? I had a spelling error on the title. It's meant to say official, but obviously I forgot an I. So it doesn't look the greatest. So guess what I'm about to do?
You're going to change it.
Just update it.
Yeah.
As someone's very passionate about it. Joel Lippman. He's just he's here at the moment. Yeah. So if you can subscribe to the new channel, that'd be much appreciated. Look where
we're doing so much more.
He said you spelled it wrong. You spelled it wrong. Mm-hmm. Right. Anyways, so in my opinion,
what's your view on it? As I had my little run there for about 3 minutes, you can go.
I think if you're passionate on being a YouTuber and you've got maybe your unique format, maybe to others, you can be very successful and earn a lot of money from it. But if you don't enjoy it, but you do it and you're successful, I wouldn't recommend doing it, because it could lead to things you don't want to be going down the wrong alleys and things like that. You get yourself in the wrong places. But if you love it and you're doing well and things are all running high, I don't see a problem with it. Some people look down to YouTubers because they're uploading videos for a living. Obviously, it's not easy making a video at the end of the day. You do receive one negative, I'd say straight away. Online cyberbullying is a massive key in YouTube, part of YouTube. In any way you're going to receive any form of bullying, because a lot of people that are jealous look down on you, think you're weird because you do something that's different to them, and jealousy is also a massive part. Sorry, I brought up just a second ago, but people that are jealous definitely look down on YouTubers because they want to be what a YouTuber is and how successful, because they know they're better than what they are.
This person's earning more money than this person, and, you know, all that jealousy of, you know, I make the same content, but I'm getting less money, you know, I'm going to go attack this person and, you know, try and take them down and stuff, you know.
So what I'd say is, as a whole, for online as a job, doing anything online, whether it's a YouTuber, a streamer, anything similar. I don't know many things like that, but there's so many online type features you can do as a living.
Yeah.
I'd say if you love it, do it. Ignore the haters. Try and aim to get to where you want to be, and just carry on what you're doing.
Yeah. Like what I say is just really ignore the people that are just a nuisance to your life. That's what I say. Just block them out of your life. If there's like, you know, people hating on you, like cyberbullying on you, and because you're trying to be a small YouTuber trying to grow, just completely ignore them. They're not worth your time. Not worth your time. Don't waste your time for them. Just don't react and leave them alone. It's just and that's it. Just completely ignore them. There's no need for violence or a massive heated argument or something. It's just not really worth it. And in the end, just you could get hurt or your feelings get hurt in the end. So you don't want to risk that.
I understand if anyone hates other YouTubers, because their content's maybe not as good, but they're successful just for being associated to someone else, or they're doing things that are not good, but they're getting to places where they want to be. I understand why people have hatred towards them. But if you want to have a hatred, in my opinion, I'd keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
You're only going to look bad in yourself at the end of the day. That's how I see it.
Yeah, you're going to make yourself look bad, and you don't want to make, I know your aim is to try and make the other person look bad, but it's just not nice, and you don't want to do that. Just ignore the people that just treat you like crap and rubbish. Just, you got to get through it. You know, just keep thinking that there's always positives in your life, and just keep going. Just keep the positivity is all I say. Just keep being positive. Don't let your thoughts get you down. Just try and think of anything that makes you happy. I know this is kind of off topic of YouTubers, but just always just for mental health, just always try and find something you like doing and keep doing that if that makes you happy. Even if other people say no, they don't like it and they don't want to be friends with you because of it, just ignore them. Just you keep doing what you want to do, and if people don't like it, then screw them. That's all I say. Just they need to piss off. Sorry.
I'd also what I'd like to say is, if someone is bringing you down, I'd mainly try and rise above them and maybe show your maturity, no matter what your job is or what you want to do or what you're doing as a young. Like obviously kids don't work, but what they're doing, like because kids can make fun fun YouTube videos just for a laugh because that's what they want to do. And 100%, you don't have to do it to earn money. Like we're not doing it to earn money, are we? We don't have barely any subscribers.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do have a sad experience that after Kobe Bryant's death, you know how the world is mourning him because he was such a great person, such a great family man and father, and just a great person overall. That I saw someone make straight after he died. I think it was not even just hours after he died, like his family are probably crying over him. And then there's a kid that makes a YouTube video out of him saying prank calling Kobe Bryant at 3 a.m. Just like that just made me so angry and annoyed and frustrated. Like, what does this kid think he's doing? He's just trying to get a bit of attention because he's trying to get attention of a person that's just died. I feel like that's just disgusting. People like that deserve something horrible happening to them and just don't deserve anything good in life.
I mean, how I see it is 2 wrongs don't make a right. That anyone can improve on what they've done in previous occasions. You can, for example, this is a great example on Twitter in like 2010, roughly 2009, 8 even. People weren't as sensitive to others. They just said what they think and just write anything on Twitter, and then people nowadays bring up tweets from 2008 or something, and they just look so awkward because they obviously wouldn't do that nowadays, but they've done it then, and it's on their not CV, their status. And I just think everyone can do things correctly and get back to where they want to be. If they were going down a bad alley and then they want to come back to rise above that and become a better person.
Yeah, if they want to continue doing that, then I think they just deserve to just no one really likes them. Or if they continually to be horrible and disgusting, then I just don't think they deserve a place in like humanity and stuff, as they're not acting human.
I think I understand if someone does something bad and they want to do something better to improve and do some charitable work or help out the homeless or things like that, try and do that. But if you make a mistake, I love people going back on themselves, apologizing, looking where they went wrong, getting better, improving, and talking to other people about their experiences and getting back to where they want to be. I love things like that. I love stories like that. It's great. Sorry we're ranting about different things that aren't even to do with the title. We were talking about YouTubers, now we're getting into mistakes.
Yeah.
But in YouTube, you can make loads of mistakes. Like, massive example. Everyone knows Logan Paul. And if you don't know Logan Paul, like, who are you at the end of the day? This guy decides to film a dead guy, right? In Japan.
Media outrage.
Right. So he films a dead guy. And everyone knows Logan Paul. So if you don't know him, you live under a rock or you're elderly. That's how I treat it.
Yeah.
So this guy films a dead guy. And obviously, at the time, Logan didn't know what he was doing. He filmed the guy. He made a mistake. And he came out with a massive video apologising. He wasn't clickbaiting or trying to grab views from randomers that don't even watch him anyway.
Yeah.
Like random audience members or random viewers. He was just trying to apologise and come out and say he made a mistake. I'd never do such a thing again. I don't know what my thought process was at the time, which happens to a lot of people, whether you're doing drugs or smoking or doing bad things.
In the now that I think they do it, then they regret it later.
That's the thing. It's the same with Twitter and anything that you do like years and years ago. Because I don't want to get in personal with you, us lot as a pair, but anything happened about that with you? Have you done? Don't name names, but like if you know them personally, and if people on here might know them personally,
I can't really name anything. I don't really want to name anything, but I can't really think of anything right now.
I don't know. I'm not putting the pressure on you straight away, but I was just thinking if you did know something that's significant to this discussion, it'd be much appreciated if we could bring up. But obviously, I'm not going to go.
I have had people be horrible to me and treat me like I'm useless, worthless, that they can just make fun of me. And I'm not going to name names, obviously, because that's just horrible, and I'm going to be the bigger man. But these people, they just, like hide away through social media, or just think they can just, say it straight to your face and, just expect you to just suffer in silence. It's just not right. You tell them that they're doing something wrong. You tell them they're being an absolute, I'd probably say arsehole. And tell them to stop. If not, then, tell your parents, or what you could do is, like try and actually reason with them or see their point of view. But some people don't. Some people just take people for granted, which shouldn't really be a thing, but some people do. And I've definitely had that with me, with people taking advantage of me. And what I've done is I've just completely ignored them because I don't need them really in my life. And it changes my life in a better way if they're out of it than they're in it. Because I don't want this tension. I don't want all this chaos and stuff, horrible to me and not including me and, saying things they shouldn't have said that affects people and can change things.
In my opinion, I'm 100% on your side for this.
Yeah.
There's no way I can be on your side, but people always, a lot of bullies, they always somehow find their way, dig other people down. Massively jealous of them, or they're not jealous of them, or
they've got their own flaws and they just pin someone else's flaws onto somebody else and take advantage of that. And that is just disgusting. Yeah. Absolutely outrageous. Shouldn't be happening.
I think also, which doesn't help, is whether it's at school, whether it's a teacher, or whether it's at an office,
sometimes, unfortunately, you like we say, in the moment, in the now, you do lose it. You do flip out or get angry or swear or throw a punch or or fight them or get angry at them, say things you shouldn't have said. Because it's in the now, and you're angry and you don't know what to think or say. Really, you're just like doing it there and then. And then the thing is, it's afterwards and how you react afterwards. If you're just going to be like, oh, I'm still going to hate you and I'm still going to bully you because of it, and it's just not right. You should just try and be the bigger man.
Right, so we'll wrap up as we're approaching the midnight stage. Time's flown. I know.
Yeah,
it's 2 minutes to midnight. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I just before we wrap up, it's been an absolute pleasure hosting the first show tonight.
Yes, it was amazing. It was great.
I know, it's great.
I really loved it and enjoyed it. Thank you for the people that commented the questions. That was amazing. It felt good that we could interfere with the people that wanted to comment things and we could answer it. Why I think let's do it live than doing off a script and doing it recorded. Pre-recorded.
So we would probably come up but because you're not on every single episode for numerous reasons, we for other guests we have to rely on their preference, because I'm always going to force them to go live. You have to go live, blah 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 blah. But if they want to go live, I'm all for it, and I really love it. And I think you've been
I can just, like I did today, just improvise and the questions, and I had a really good time actually.
I think it's been great. And if before we end, we're 1 minute to midnight. Might as well end at midnight. Yeah. Everyone, like the bloody stream, subscribe if you're new. We've just started up, and if you can
like and subscribe and comment down below of what you want to see to happen in more next podcasts and streams.
Because once the stream ends, it'll go into comments. It'll go into comments, not live chat. So then we can read it after it's done. The comments. So I'd like to read what people want us to do. We could go on to other avenues next podcast.
Is there any comments now, or any last comments? You just want to shout out the people that have commented.
Let me have a look. Hold on a second. I think we're only on a few views, so I think everyone's gone for I'm joking, they haven't gone for a drink, but they've gone to relax for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, they've probably gone to bed.
It's exactly midnight. I think it's appropriate time to end. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe and share. Out from Marcus.
Like and subscribe. Thank you very much for having me. This was great and I had so much fun. And peace out.
Peace out, people.
Peace out.